Finally, let's talk about light sources. Light kits almost always come with 3 heads, so if you're buying your first light kit, make sure you get 3 heads. I'll explain that in the next episode. Light sources also come in 2 basic flavors. The monolight, which has everything built right into the head, and the head and pack system, which is what I have here. Now, the head and pack system requires the light head and a pack, also called a generator. You need both parts for that to work. Now, I recently received a question that asked about the differences between the 2. David Farley wrote, "Would you mind a brief explanation of why a power pack kit is better than a monolight kit? One feature that I love about monolights is the control in tight spaces." That's a great question, David. Now, a pack and light kit is not necessarily better than a monolight kit. They both have jobs to do, and they both do them very well. So when you're buying your light source, you really need to consider 9 things. With the pack and head system, all the controls are right here on the pack, so it makes it really easy to control each light setting. With a monolight system, the controls are on the back of the head itself, which doesn't seem like that big of a deal until the head is 12 or 13 feet in the air and you have to make several adjustments. The other nice thing about the pack and head system is that the trigger is right here on the pack. So if you're slaving the lights to a different flash, there's a little photo cell here. So it detects the flash and then it makes all of the lights fire. Well, on a monolight system, that little slave is on the back of the monolight. And so you trigger one monolight and the light from that triggers all the rest. Well, if you have a big, huge softbox or something in front of your light, sometimes the light doesn't reach that trigger in the back, and that can make syncing all your lights a nightmare. You don't have that issue with the pack and head system. Flash duration is the amount of time that the flash is on when the flash fires. If you're capturing motion, like ninjas bouncing off walls like Chase Jarvis did, you need to have a really short flash duration. Think of it like shutter speed. Now, a pack and head system is going to have much shorter flash durations than a monolight system. Recycle times is the amount of time that the system needs to recharge between flashes. Generally, shorter recycle times are better, and pack and head systems are going to have shorter recycle times than monolight systems. Power output is measured in watt seconds. The more powerful a light is, the brighter the light will be. If you're shooting with very low ISOs like ISO 25 or ISO 50, or you need really small aperture settings like f22 or higher, you're really going to need more power. If you're shooting outside in bright sunlight and you need to overpower that ambient light, you'll need more power for that. If your source is going to be a long distance from your subject, again, you'll need more power. Or if you're using a lot of light modifiers, especially diffusion, those can change the output of your source by a half or even a full stop, so you need to compensate for that. However, if you're working in a small space, a home studio or something like that, you don't need quite as much power because generally those light sources will be much closer to your subject. In fact, most portrait photographers working in home studios or smaller studios are just fine with 600 to 1200 watt seconds. However, if you're doing a lot of sets and complicated lighting setups with multiple models, or you're shooting outside, shooting cars and things like that, you'll probably need more power. Most professionals use 2400 to 4800 watt seconds in their setups. Monolights are generally 1200 watt seconds or less, and so if you want more power, you're going to have to go to a pack and head system. Now, for a full explanation of watt seconds, check out the bonus materials that we've posted at studiolighting.net. Now, durability is how long your equipment is going to last. You're going to be moving these things all over in your studio, hauling them to different locations and things like that. So you really want to get something that is going to last. Make sure you buy metal equipment. Avoid plastic, because plastic is going to break, but metal will last a very, very long time. Output consistency is measured both in terms of power and color temperature. You want your light to be the exact same power from flash to flash so that your exposure remains consistent from frame to frame. You also want to make sure that your color temperature is consistent, especially if you're shooting commercial photography like clothing catalogs and things like that. Profoto and other high-end systems are best if you're concerned with this issue. When you buy a system, you want it to be very flexible. All manufacturers are going to allow you to use standard reflectors, umbrellas, softboxes, snoots, and things like that. But higher-end systems are going to give you even more choices with more flexibility. You'll be able to use more modifiers, specialized reflectors, wireless triggers, and other innovations like that. Which leads me to... For many photographers, the ability to rent equipment is very important to them. Profoto is the most rented light equipment in the world. One of the reasons I use them is I know I can go and rent any reflector, head, generator, or other Profoto equipment in any major city, anywhere in the world. You won't be able to do that with most other manufacturers. Now you have to balance all of this stuff with your own personal style of photography and your budget. Now the price differences can be really staggering. For example, as of today, you can get a complete PhotoFlex 3-light setup with stands, monolights, softboxes, and umbrellas for less than this Profoto head. It's a pretty big difference. You can also get some great used gear. In fact, I just recently bought a Novatron 3-light setup with a case, stands, umbrellas, generator, and 3 heads for $100. So look on eBay. There's a lot of great deals out there. All right, now from all of this discussion, it probably sounds like I'm saying that the pack and head system is the best. Well, that's just not true. You have to balance everything out. So if you're shooting mostly portrait photography, or you're going to a lot of locations, if you're budget conscious, if you have a small studio, monolights are probably going to be much better for you than the head and pack system. If you're not really sure what you should do, I suggest you go to your local camera store and rent some gear just to try it out. And a lot of camera stores actually have free seminars where they demonstrate all of the different equipment, and you can try it out and see what works best for you. And if you're not sure, just ask your local camera store and they'll let you know if they do that or not. Speaking of local camera shops, we're going to go to our local camera shop and we're going to check out a bunch of other equipment and other options for lighting gear. So stay tuned for a special bonus episode of Digital Photography One-on-One coming soon. Now the next episode is going to be wrapping all this up. We're going to be showing you a basic 3-light setup and we'll show you how all of this fits together. I'll see you then.
This episode is brought to you by SnapFactory.com and StudioLighting.net. For more information about our workshops, visit SnapFactory.com.